So now you get to do that. So one of you takes a lot of classes from me. One of you I've just met, and the other one is a long-term kind of friend that I've known for a while that occasionally takes classes. So Janet, why don't you introduce yourself and what dog you're working? And then I'm just going to go around the circle and then we'll talk about Hoopers and we'll get into what we're doing.
Sure. Yeah, so I signed up with Skeen, but Skeen sometimes quits on me, so Raven is my backup. If Skeen decides he doesn't want to play, then Raven is here as his backup. And yeah, Skeen, he used to love agility type things. He had his knee surgery, and since then, you know, things changed because he didn't have a normal puppy life, and maybe there is some pain involved, and he's on fluoxetine. Now I'm kind of wondering if maybe the fluoxetine is making him dopish. I don't know. So he's a very sensitive boy that thinks a lot, which is the opposite of Raven, who doesn't think at all. Or at least you can't see him thinking. It sometimes happens, but
and I was going to say this might also be a really good class, parts of it for Zoe. So some of this stuff.
I know, like the thing, she's in the car right now and she's taking agility in a couple of weeks. So she's getting all these in-person classes. So I'd like her to do this too. You know, it'd be fun to do some other class, but yeah, she's getting all the fun in-person classes. So
okay,
she can get to do it this time.
That works. Rebecca, who are you and what dog are you going to be working? And I think you're not here next week. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm not here next week.
Rebecca's on her way to Clicker Expo, just so we all know.
I wish I could go.
It's so much fun. I'm Rebecca, and I'm working with Anna today. She's Golden. We don't done any sports together at all. We did a tiny bit of rally like a year ago, and I just thought maybe it would be fun for her and for me to learn something new. And she needs to maybe get a bit more exercise and lose a couple pounds as well.
Okay. And so Janet's in Nanaimo, BC, Rebecca's in Grand Forks, and Sarah is in Montana. So, and then most of the other people that are in the class who are auditing are from the Southern Interior. So 2 from Cranbrook, 1 from Trail, and 1 from Castlegar, but they're auditing. So Sarah, you're either frozen or that's your picture. Who are you and who are you working this class with?
He's there.
Sorry, I think I was frozen, but
okay.
I think I'm back now. I am doing this class with Tracer. She's a 3-year-old border collie who has had shoulder issues since she was little. So she had shoulder surgery on both of her shoulders. We've tried to do agility. She loves it, but it comes away limping after just a few jumps. So we're just not going to do that. I'm hoping Hoopers works for her. If we start seeing limping, I do have another dog, but we'll see. And I am from Montana. I am a professional dog trainer, but I have not done very much agility. I've never done anything Hoopers related, but I love all things dogs. And I went to Clicker Expo online last weekend. It was fabulous.
Yeah. And I stayed away from Clicker Expo, decided I couldn't afford it because I never watched the videos after. And they won't let me in the States right now anyway, so I can't go to the States. So
Yep.
That's outstanding bills from being in the hospital for 5 months. So I am just quickly going to, where am I going to start? I'm quickly going to share my screen and I'm going to go to the Zenler platform, which I think you've all seen, which of course is not. You're just going to go to wherever I am. It is not handy. There it is. So I'm going to go to the preview. So I think you've all seen it. If you've had my, if you followed the Loom link that I sent you. But this is basically parts of what we are covering. There's a lot of talking and dog training, as always, in all of my classes, because I don't believe that, whether the dog can go through the tunnel and around the barrel is nearly as important as their impulse, not their impulse control, their stimulus control, having things on stimulus control, being engaged with you, being able to look forward, and etc. So all of that is in here. You can look through it at your leisure. We are kind of going to be following it, but not exactly. Where I want to, oh, that was interesting. So I'm actually in my section. Oh, maybe I'm not. Anyway, where I wanted to go was to the community page. So this very first link is where I'm going to post our YouTube. Our very first link is where I'm going to post the link for Zoom. So I will post it here so that it's always there. If you have questions to ask, if you have video to post, you can always post it here. If you want to talk about something that was really specific to a lesson, then if it will let me go back, let's go there. In the lesson, there should be something called discussions up here, and you can click that and it will take you to anybody who has questions about that specific thing or more information about that specific thing or whatever. This is my first time teaching off of Facebook. I have no idea how this is working. What I love about Facebook is the community that we get. I am not sure that it's going to give us that, but I think it's going to give us a forum where we can find things more easily in the sense of the videos that we need, but also hopefully using the community and discussion page will allow us to get that kind of community that we have. Any questions about the Zenler platform? Okay, my next topic, which may or may not be your next topic, is what is Hoopers and why do we care about Hoopers, or why have I taken to Hoopers? So I am a long-term agility person. I've done agility for 22 years. Let's not include last year. I did agility for 21 years. Loved it, taught multiple classes per week. I'm an agility present tense, an agility judge. I've been to regionals, I've been to nationals, I've done all that stuff. Then when I lost my mobility last year, I lost part of my mobility last year, I realized that I might not be able to do agility. The other thing that happened, I'm keeping that picture there just because I do want to come to it. So I don't want to unshare my screen. The other thing that happened at that same time is I started looking at my young dogs. And Magic, who is Raven's sister, thought agility was something she should just turn her nose up and there was too much pressure and she hated it. Sparkle, who is a younger dog, thought agility was something where if he went over and smashed all the standards, he could get through the course faster. If he broke weave poles, he could get through the course faster. And absolutely, why would you want to even touch the yellow on the bottom of a contact? So jumping 6 feet off the top of the A-frame was what he wanted to do. And at that same point, a couple of friends of mine who are vets on the coast and on the island started talking about the fact that they were no longer doing agility because of the damage it was causing their dogs. And although I had started agility with Sparkle, and Angela, who fostered him while I was in the hospital, continued it, I got out of the hospital and I looked at him and I looked at agility and I looked at me and I went, no, this is not for us. And just at about that same time, because I went into huge depression for a couple of days about, oh my God, I'm not going to do agility for the rest of my life. And at that point, I discovered Hoopers. I should turn the volume down, shouldn't I? Hoopers is just about hoops. There's a hoop and barrels and directing your dog through a course as fast as they can go. It doesn't have any sharp turns in it. It is specially made for dogs, especially made for dogs in general. And it's made for handlers who can't get places. So it's all about being able to send your dog. You can walk, you can send your dog, you can use verbals, you can stand in one place and send them around. It is a blast. And Sparkle says it's the best thing for him because he gets to run fast and doesn't have to slow down. And I think it's the best thing for me because I can stand in one place and direct him all around the whole course without having to move a whole lot. So that really works for me because I would fall down if I tried to do agility now. So that's what it's about. In all of Hoopers, so it's different in every country. And NADAC Hoopers in the States, Sarah, is different from this kind of Hoopers, just so that you know. However, I would expect that this kind of Hoopers is going to be something that comes to the States. NADAC Hoopers has sharp turns in it, which isn't necessarily great for the dog's body. The other part of Hoopers is you can run with your dog around the barrel, send them to the tunnel, and this is all where I start. Or you can basically stand in one place and send your dog all around the course. And you get extra points for that if you care about points and titles and things like that. So it's very cool that way. Very much, you can do it with a puppy because there's no impact. You can do it with a retired agility dog because there's no impact. You can do it with a dog like Sparkle who says stopping is stupid. And you can do it if you are have difficulty with mobility. So that's the big difference, and that's what drew me to Hoopers. It is brand new in Canada. I was the second judge in Canada. There's now 4 of us. Sorry, having a drink of water. There's now 4 of us in Canada, 3 in Ontario, and me in BC. And this is the second time I've taught an online Hoopers class. I teach regular once a month in-person classes, and starting in April, I'll be teaching weekly classes. But so I'm just trying to get people excited about it. And I've been really excited to see the excitement that's happening in BC. Kim Collins is looking at Hoopers, which is huge because Kim is one of our foremost agility trainers here. Nikki is looking at Hoopers, which is amazing because Nikki is one of the best trainers, been to regionals, nationals, and worlds several times in BC. She lives on the island just south of where Janet is. And both of them are bringing a lot of energy to Hoopers in BC. So really excited about it and very excited about getting you guys started. Unfortunately, as with everything, there's stuff that you have to do before you can start sending your dog around a course. We need the dogs to think that hoops are important. We need the dog to think that barrels are important. We need the dog to believe that there's a reward at the end of wherever they're going to. So we're going to start today by working on stimulus control. So some people used to call this impulse control. I call it stimulus control. It's about waiting for the cue. So I'm going to show you a video, and then you are going to work with your dogs. And what you need is a dish or a target plate or something that you're going to put food on. Actually, I should have asked you if there are any questions about Hoopers before you all take off on me and go and look for things. Any questions about Hoopers? Okay. I have been involved just so you know, I've been involved for the last 5 hours in controversy on Facebook with the board of Caro. So it's just, my brain is a little bit fried right now. So I'm looking for that one, and we're on there. So right now you should be seeing my screen that says stimulus control game, Dish, Magic, December 31. Can you tell me if you can see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. So I use the word dish to mean go and get the food. So I have a lot of location specific markers. Dish is one of them. When I start this, I'm going to speed through a lot of this because I'm going to talk through it, and I don't want any volume. I don't know if I can get rid of the volume. Oh, there it is. Get rid of the volume. Get your mouse up there. I want to get rid of the volume on there so that I can talk through this. So I am starting between my legs in middle, but you can certainly start beside you, whatever. I am initially holding the dog, put food in the dish. I say dish, and then I let go of the dog and she can have it. And do that again. Why am I going fast? I should be going slow, whatever. We don't care about that stuff. So I'm holding the dog. I put food in it. I say the word, then I let go. I use middle because that's convenient for me. So right there, I have a cane. I think you all know that. I can't move quickly. My preference is that you grab the dish, not the dog, because this is about controlling the consequence. Getting the food out of the dish is the consequence. It's about controlling the consequence, not the behavior of the dog. I don't have a choice. I have to grab the dog. I want her to wait for the word dish. That's why it's stimulus control. Again, if I could move quickly, I would be putting my foot over that dish. It's a lot like for those of you who play It's Your Choice or the mouse game. It's very much like that. Say it, let go. Now, it might take you a couple of weeks to get here, but your steps 2 is let go of the harness, say the word, and wait for them to look forward. This is about 2 things. We're building 2 things at once. Focus forward, which we want in hoopers because we need the dog to be looking at the hoop or the barrel, and it's about stimulus control. Because eventually, one of the things I want to do, I can't change sharing screen. Let me do it a little bit differently. One of the things I want to be able to do is have the dog here. Have the dog here. You can see I'm looking at the Hoopers course. Is that what you guys are looking at?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to have the dog here. I want to have my dish there. I send my dog to the dish. My dish stays there all the time. Then we come back to here. I send my dog to the dish. My dish stays there. Then we go back to here. I send my dog to the dish. So you will see some of the videos are forward chaining where I move the dish. I now back chain it all because I want that dish at the end of a course or eventually out of the ring. So if there was a barrel here, I might have the food dish here, send around the barrel, through the hoop to the dish. I want them looking forward, not at me. So go ahead. I heard somebody say something. Nope. Okay. We are going to do the first step. You can use whatever words you want for get the food that's on the ground. It's not thrown food. It is stationary food because believe me, if you are back here, you are not going to be able to throw your food there or your toy. You're welcome to use a toy, but you're not going to be able to throw it there. We need the dog to be able to take the 2 tunnels, go around the barrel, go through the hoops, and know that a reward is going to be there. So you can use food if you want in a dish. You can use toy. I would love you to start teaching a specific marker that says, get the one that's on the ground, if you can. So for me, that is dish, and that is, well, unfortunately, it's get it, which could mean catch the thrown toy. So I'm not very good at that one. So
I was going to ask about that because I say get it, but then I was thinking maybe that's too non-specific. Like, should it be something specific to this?
So for today, I don't care. You get to think about it, right? So for
Okay.
me, get it always means toy. Sometimes I throw it though, although sometimes I'll say catch, or sometimes it's just there. It means go get the toy that is in front of you. Dish for me means go and look for something that has food on it. It may just be a target plate with food on it. It does not mean look behind you for it. It does not mean I'm going to throw it. It does not mean you're going to catch it. Those are all different words I teach. I do a lot of location specific markers. There is some stuff in that in the Zenler program. Do you know what you're going to do?
I think so.
Okay, so we're going to work all three of you at once. I will attempt to say your name. We're going to work for about 3 or 4 minutes maximum because the dogs are going to get tired. I am going to make every attempt to say your name before I start talking to you. So Janet, Rebecca, and see, I'm going to call you Tracy now instead of Tracer and Sarah because Tracy's in my other classes. Yeah.
I gotta go
Okay.
grab
That's
it.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Grab my
So
dish.
you need to grab your dogs, grab your dishes, whatever. I will be pausing it. And you can have them beside you, between your legs. I don't care. I just don't want them to go when you throw the food. So hold them back. Ah, okay.
There's nothing in here.
And that's another way of doing it. Good. Say the word, Janet, and then let go of the harness. What you may find is your dog pulls you hard.
Okay, middle. Good girl. Okay,
Good.
hold. Get it.
Nice. Good job, Tracer.
Middle.
Tracer, or Sarah, if you're going to use get it,
Get it. Oh,
say it
I
before you let go.
okay. Cool.
We don't
I'm gonna
want-
try and use dish. I have to remember.
Okay.
Dish.
Perfect. Perfect timing.
Yay,
Because
good girl.
I don't want the letting go to be the cue to go.
Dish.
Good.
Middle.
If you're feeling like your dog might be able to, see if you can let go of the
Dish.
dog and then send them to the dish.
Dish. Middle. Good
But
girl.
be prepared to
Where'd you go?
good.
Ready.
Good, Janet. Try to say the word and then let go of the harness.
Middle. Dish.
Dish.
Beautiful, Rebecca. That's really nice.
Oh, the cat's trying to get me.
Nice job. Nice.
Good
job.
stimulus
Ready.
control.
Okay, Katie, would you?
The
Good
cat.
girl. Yeah.
Good.
Good job.
Yep. So exactly.
Nice
If you have
job.
to grab the dog, you want to try to
Hold
get
on.
to your dish
Oh.
first.
Oh boy. Okay, middle.
I know.
Dish.
Dish.
Ah, middle.
And do a couple of really fast ones. So as soon as they come in the middle, you say dish. Because we don't want to make it harder and
Dish.
harder. We want it to be
Yeah.
good.
Middle. Dish.
And then go back to a couple of hard ones. Good.
Dish.
Good, Janet. Janet, let's see if you can, I think you're doing it. Say it without your hand on the dog. And see if he can just wait for you to say that. Yep. And Sarah's doing a
Middle.
great,
Dish.
nice. Good.
Good girl.
You guys have about 30 seconds. And if you need to let your dog do something different for a second, that's just fine.
Dish.
Dish.
Try to get a pause from him before he goes forward, Janet,
Okay.
if you can. Good.
Good girl. Hey, middle.
Yes, good job.
Dish.
Nice. And let's give these dogs a break. So Sarah's going to put her dog away and get back in her vehicle. Everybody else is just going to love your dog up. Thank them for having a time to work with you. And yeah. And I just need to know, I got rid of it. Okay, we're not going to do that. Okay. Okay. Sarah, I'll wait for you to get back in your vehicle where it's warm. Good, warm up. Questions about that? What I want to be able to do eventually. So one of the things with, I want to go back so we're view is everybody, not just you guys. I want to make sure that when I'm training, I'm doing an easy one, a harder one, and back to an easy one. It's very it's very easy for us to drill harder, 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 harder. I love the fact that one of the things that Sarah did is she was looking at Tracer's energy level, and she did some spins and some other things, because working on something that has stimulus control can make Jess Martin calls them whoa dogs, a dog that's a little bit like, I've got a lot of impulse control because I'm not sure. It can make them even lower. So you need to make sure you do some rapid ones with them, but we're still building the concept. Rebecca, I'm assuming that you can still hear me, although you're muted, so you won't be able to tell me you can. I want to build it up more. Again, oh, I see, she's answering the phone. Easy, hard, easy, easy, harder, easy. I want to build it up until what I can do is have them beside me and maybe even say sit, and have them sit. And then the reward for that is dish, so that they're not going to predict that the first word out of my mouth is the dish. That takes a long time, even if you do it in micro sessions every day. I don't do it in micro sessions every day, but it took Sparkle a really long time. And for some dogs who aren't verbal, it can take even longer, right? But make sure that you're always monitoring their energy level, because if they're a dog with good impulse control, we need to keep that energy up. We need to keep it easy enough that they don't fail, but we need to keep their energy up. So that might be spins and catches and other things, and then go back to 1 rep of the stimulus control. So part of your homework is a few micro sessions of that. Video it if you can, post into the community if you can, or post into the discussion if you want. Next thing we are going to look at, how did it get to be 3:30? I did plan for like a 75-minute class, so we'll see. We may end up taking the whole thing. Is some shaping of the hoop. So I want to do 2 sessions of the hoop today. One is going to be shaping back and forth, and one is going to be focus forward using dish. So I'm just going to show you a video of the shaping. What am I doing? My brain fell out. Sharing screen, Vimeo, and get back there, right there. Okay, so this is a short session that I did with, who did I do it with? Obviously Magic. So I had bowls on either side just because I could throw the food. All I'm doing, I'm trying to find the space I want right there. I'm starting off, oh, it went right back to the beginning. You little, darn it. I want to start, so there it is, so close to the hoop that they cannot make a mistake. As they move forward, I'm going to throw. Initially, it looks like a lure. I don't care. It looked like a lure to Magic, and then very quickly she started moving, expecting that the food was going to fall in front of her. So I'm never going to reward for looking at me, and you can see that she's predicting that the food is going to come. I have food in both hands. I'm trying to throw before. You don't have to mark, you can mark. All I'm doing is going back and forth, and then I'm gradually moving backwards. I don't have a lot of space in the house, but I want her to choose to go through the hoop rather than cut the hoop and come to me. If your dog's done any agility, this should be fairly easy. Again, I've moved back some more. There we are. And I actually put bowls in so that she goes to the bowl to get her food, has to go out to the hoop, whereas she could cut right across there. She's going out to the hoop and then to this bowl. And then I drop things. This is my life, my daily life. Drop the cane, throw the cane. I yell to Sparkle to pick it up. So that's in the bowl. And then she has to go out to the hoop, to the bowl. So if you've done Vito's game, you can see that this is basically Vito's game or 2-bowl game. But I only start that once I've done it really close and the dog has gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I've moved back a foot. They go back and forth. I've moved back 2 feet. They go back and forth. I move back 3 feet if I can, and I put some bowls in so that they're choosing the hoop. Any questions on that? Okay, we are going to start with them just going back and forth across the hoop. Sarah, you may want to use your 2 targets because your food's going to disappear in the snow, I think. Sarah, you have disappeared. Oh my God. Okay, there. Last night in my class, I kept disappearing. So,
Yeah, you froze for a bit earlier, so I think it's
okay. Did you get to see most of that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're good.
So Janet, you're going to do it. Or not Janet. Sarah's going to do it possibly with 2 bowls, just so that you can find the she can find the food in the snow. You guys can just toss food. All we want is them going back and forth through the hoop. We're just shaping the hoop. We're going to do it maybe two minutes of that.
I have one question. So Skeen is like, you know how Skeen just gets sort of like, I don't want to do, like, do I quit with him or try and get his energy up, or do I just go with
Get his
Raven?
energy up. Get his
Okay.
energy up. Do some
'Cause I think
spins.
he should love this, but I don't know what's going on.
Some of the drilling part that we do when we're teaching is really hard in a class situation. So some dogs will have trouble in class, and yet at home, when it's just you and him, you'll be able to do some spins, have him go through the hoop, do some more spins, have him go through the hoop. But in class, we're going back and forth because that's just what we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of always like this.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. I'll grab it.
Nice bringing the hoop out, Rebecca. Good.
I know you really want to play. I know you do. Not fair, is it?
Works.
Okay.
Oh, Sarah disappeared on me again. Nice, Rebecca. I love the fact that she's looking forward.
Yeah.
Good. Sarah's back.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, good girl.
Yeah, and then just throw, Janet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hi. Okay.
good. See if he can chase it without you having your hand there, Janet. Good, nice job. Oh, great, Tracer. Tracer's like, I can do this. This is just like agility.
Yep.
Yep. Except there's no jumping involved. I love it even more.
Yay.
Good, Janet. I'm
Much
glad you got
better.
your hand out. Yes.
Ready?
Good. We're going to do about another 30 seconds. I think they've got this, and you can certainly practice it more on your own. Rebecca, if you can move that hoop over to the other wall, which will give you some space away from it. Yep, there you go.
Good work.
And she's like, whoa, you changed the picture. Yeah.
Good.
This is where we get to find out if they've figured out that it's about the hoop. Yes. Good, Rebecca. She's figured that out. Nice. Skeen. Good. Let's see if you can move back a little bit, Janet.
What's that?
See if you can move back a little bit and have him choose the hoop.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, good. I want to see if he'll choose the hoop again.
All right.
Oh, we did not get the hoop in there.
And if the dog chooses you over the hoop, you've just moved too far backwards too fast. But I want to see them that they're like, whoa, I love this hoop. It's making great things happen. Yay.
Boy.
Okay, that's probably good for all of them. Love them up, do a couple of different things with them. Thank them for being around for another day that they can work with you.
Hi. Oh no.
I'm waiting for Sarah to come back, but that's okay because I need to find the next video that I want to do, shaping the barrel. And I'm going to put that on this screen, I think. And will you go to full screen? Sorry, guys, I'm having my own conversation in my head here. There we are. Okay. Now I'll come back. Oops, who'd we lose? We lost Sarah. Okay. Any questions on that? I
I think
want,
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, it'll just take a little bit for him to choose the hoop, because he is looking to me, he's just looking straight to me like, where's the food? I'm not sure he's really, you know, catching the hoop idea. So I think just repetition.
yeah, and I found that for lots of dogs, the hoops aren't as visible as I would like them to be, right? We think they're visible, but for the dogs, it's a jump is less visible somehow, or is more visible somehow. So play with it. I want them to think that hoops are amazing. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think just thinking it's this thing in the way right now. So I'll try to work on that.
Yeah, and I think that's where, as you move back, so you may initially, if the edge of the hoop is here and you're right there, you may initially move back 3 inches. And then
Okay.
you may need another 3 inches.
Yeah,
We
just
have a
keep
tendency to move back this far, and that's too
Right.
much.
So I
So
moved too.
move a little bit. If the dog makes a mistake, they still get a piece of food, but you move in.
Yeah. Okay.
So that we really help them to see that it's not about us, it's about going through the hoop that gets them the food. Other questions on that? Rebecca, you're muted.
Well, that's not helpful, is it?
No.
So I was wondering, the second part of it where you were showing the dish, how do you know you're ready to start adding in?
Have you ever done Vito's game?
No.
Okay. So my dogs all know Vito's game, which is eat the food, go around out of the dish, go around the cone, eat the food out of the dish. It basically starts with a 2-bowl game. And all they do is they eat the food, they eat the food, they eat the food, they eat the food. Once they can do that, I start putting other things in front of it. So this is also how in agility I do my weaves. So I put a bowl at the end of the weaves, a bowl at the end of the weaves, stink bug, way too early for them. And I have bowls beside me. They eat the food, they go out to the weaves and come back to the food. They go out to the weaves, they come back to the food. Obviously not the first thing I do with the weaves, but it is a great way of teaching lots of stuff. I have Vito's game on another classroom. And so what I will do, I think it was from the shaping class. I'm looking at Janet. It was a shaping class that had Charmaine in it that I did it, I think. I will post that for you guys. But it's great because it also teaches them to go around a cone, basically anything. The bowl is just there as a way of, for me, building distance from that obstacle. Because otherwise I tend to throw, if my hoop is here, let's do it. My hoop is here, I tend to throw in a straight line, right? So all they have to do is turn around and go through. But I actually want to I want to come from here where they have to choose to go out and through.
Okay.
Yeah, you could start that obviously by just having bowls and having the hoop really close to you. but you know, you enjoy training, go back and do some Vito's game. It's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask
Uh,
one more question about the
yeah.
dishes? Those
Mhm.
game. Do you want to have it on stimulus control before you play that game, or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter because as soon as they do it, I'm going to throw the food.
Okay.
So
Right.
I don't even, I do say dish, but only because I'm working on that word all the time with my dogs. But I only need it on stimulus control when there's going to be food in the dish, and I want them to wait for the cue to get it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. But if you enjoy training, Vito's game is a wonderful thing to train. And it
Okay.
goes, if you've done any of Mary, whatever her name is, movement puzzles, they are basically Vito's game, but she will tell you they're not. But they are basically the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're great. Do Mary's stuff on movement puzzles are fun. Yeah.
Mm.
Sarah,
Cool.
any questions?
Nope, I just need to not put too much distance between the hoop early because I've been success between the two games. It's always because I move too fast and I know that. So I just need to slow down and not do it too far away.
Yeah. The more repetitions we get of going through that hoop, the stronger the hoop behavior will be, no matter where we are. So that's why I want to do lots close. I'm just like you. I want to get back. But the more repetitions I can get of the hoop being valuable, the faster I can move forward. Really, really hard for us to remember. Okay, do
I
you?
think it'll be easier with the hoop than with the cone. Because
Yep.
she just wanted to smash the cone and didn't care that it existed. Be excited about the hoop.
Okay. So having talked about that, now we're going to do something with cones or garbage cans or something that has a little bit of height to it. Do you all have something like that? Okay. I do it on cones, but I've also had to work through Sparkle thinking that cones were for swatting, cones were for nosing, cones were for knocking over because you put your nose in them. I mean, all the operant behaviors with the cone. So I'm going to use my whiteboard for a second. So I used to do some of the stuff on the classroom, you're going to see one way and some you're going to see another. So if this is my hoop here, or my barrel, please excuse me, we are talking about barrels if I use the wrong word. I used to put the dish here, have the dog, let's put the dog here, and have the dish here, send the dog, and then move the dish here, send the dog, move the dish here, send the dog. What I have discovered, and it's actually thanks to Chris Minchell, who lives, didn't mean to do that, who lives in Grand Forks, which is where Rebecca is that back chaining is a way better way of teaching almost everything in hoopers. So here's my barrel. And now I'm going to put the dish over here. So I'm thinking about this as being a clock. So that's 12 o'clock. That's 6 o'clock. This is 9 o'clock. I don't write well with my mouse. This is 3 o'clock. I'm going to start with my dog here and the handler. So that's me here. So this is a little bit of technical stuff that you can remember or not remember. I always want to send my dog with the leg and arm that's closest to the dog. So if I am here and I am facing this direction, my right leg and my right arm are going to send the dog. So I'm going to put food in there. I'm going to bring my dog back to here. I'm maybe not going to worry about how great my stimulus control is right now. I'm going to take my hand off their collar and I am going to give a motion cue, which is my arm and leg, to send them to that dish. Then I'm going to do it again. Then I'm going to do it again. As my dog is able, I'm going to move back to 1 o'clock. And I'm going to keep my dish in the same place. So the reward always is the same place, and the dog is going farther and farther and farther around the barrel to get to that dish. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, I am going to change my share, and I'm going to go to screen 2, and I'm going to share this. So I use, because all of the other videos were all forward chaining, and I've now changed how I do it because I like it better. I had to make a new video. So here it's exactly what I just explained to you. And see if we can go a little bit faster than normal, especially through this stuff. I am using a little chest of drawers because I don't have a barrel in the house because my barrels are all, wow, that's a lot of talking for a really long time. My barrels are all up at the arena. So there's my dish. Here's my dog. Here's my hoop. My barrel. That is 9 o'clock. I am actually a little past 12 because this is pretty small. You will see me. That leg, the outside leg came forward, and my hand was low and came forward. There's already food in that dish. And then I'm going to take it back just a little bit. You can see my foot move, my hand moves, my hand is low. Dogs don't process hands nearly as much as they process your chest and your legs and your eyes. Arms are a primate thing. And then I threw the food. So now I'm back at 3 o'clock. She has good stimulus control. This is really hard because now it would be way easier for her to cut through there if I hadn't done tons and tons of value for going around the thing. She has never done this before. But my arm and leg actually blocks the way and she goes around. If she had tried to cut, I would just go back a step, right? And all she's doing is telling me she doesn't really understand. She's being an efficient. She would have been an efficient dog, but okay, now I've moved back. So I'm going really fast because I wanted the whole video. Arm, my leg closest to her starts back. As I say go, that arm and leg go forward. And I turn. And now I'm feeding off my body. She's going all the way around. And my cue for going around a barrel is fly. So where we started was back here with me here, then me here, then me here, as many small steps as I need. Getting all the way around to this might take you a week or 2. Questions on that?
Could you just remind me, what does stimulus control mean?
Stimulus control means the dog should only do it when they hear the cue.
Okay, so it's just using a cue and then
Yeah.
I
So
wasn't sure if it meant like controlling their body or what. So it's
No.
just verbal.
yeah, it's very or hands or whatever, but the stimulus is the cue. So the dog is waiting for the stimulus to get the consequence they want.
Right, right.
And lots of people say impulse control. And I feel like that puts a lot of pressure on the dog, even thought-wise. So I am now, and I can't remember who changed that word for me. Lori Huston, our agility trainer. I was going, I hate this word impulse control because everybody is saying, oh, it's impulse control. And it's like, if I even think impulse control with magic, she's like, yeah, don't need to be here. I can go somewhere else. But if I think stimulus control, she's like, I'm waiting for the cue. I'm waiting for the cue because she picks up my thoughts.
Yeah,
is
and then so much of it is the opposite with dogs like Skeen. Like he just needs to actually find his motivation. So he's there's no impulse control there.
Yeah. And with dogs like that, I'm going to put stimulus control in,
Yeah,
but I'm
right.
not going to put impulse control in. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's the same thing, but it's a slightly different twist that I don't know that KPA ever went into enough detail on, and certainly PDT didn't touch it.
Oh,
And
they did a bunch on stimulus control.
and not impulse control?
Nothing on impulse control.
Okay, then that has changed. That has changed.
That's
Because when I went through in 2010, stimulus control wasn't as known in the dog training world. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But I think it's not, yeah, period. No, don't need to go on. Okay, does that make sense? Do you know what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so get your equipment ready, and then we'll try it for about 3 minutes. And the same thing, I will try to remember to say your name. Who did I lose? Why did I lose Sarah? That's weird. We'll do it for about 3 minutes. And yeah, and if you need to get your dog up, that's fine. And this is where I'm going to actually put my hand on the harness, so I'm not having to work on the behavior of Dish.
All right.
What do you think, lady? Hi. Get it.
So I would start, Rebecca, I would start with your, start with the dog side leg a little bit back so that you can step forward, because motion is a huge, yeah.
Okay.
And if you need to be closer, go closer
Hi.
and just use
here.
Dish.
Okay. Ready. Okay. Hold on. Here we go.
Oh, you're so ready.
Sarah, she needs to
Okay.
be on the other side of you. Yeah. We put the-
Okay, that's
yeah,
why we were having problems.
Yeah,
Okay.
that causes the
Makes
wrong
sense now.
that causes the wrong lead.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and now
There.
you're going to move back just
Okay.
a little bit.
Ready?
Ian's like, I got that, Mom.
Okay. Hold. Fly.
Good. Nice job, Sarah.
Okay.
Ian's like,
Hold.
told me I couldn't have it, so I don't know what to do now.
Good
So
girl.
I want
Okay.
you to be, Sarah, I'm not Sarah, sorry, Janet, I want you to be beside Skeen if you can.
Hold.
Yeah.
Beside him and
Fly.
Beside him if you can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Fly.
Our leg, Rebecca, this is for you. Leg beside the dog starts back and then it comes forward.
Hold.
Good job.
Good girl. Good girl.
Because they need to see the movement. So that leg now is gonna,
Fly.
yep. And now that right leg is going to come forward. The right leg forward, Sarah,
Okay.
Rebecca.
Like this.
Right. Hold. Fly.
Don't fall on the thing,
Good
Rebecca.
girl. Get it. There we go. Get it.
So Rebecca, start with the right leg back and then the right leg goes forward. Yes, that was perfect. You got it.
Okay.
And I forgot to start the timer.
Okay. Hold.
Good girl.
Fly.
So
There you go.
yeah, good.
Good girl. Good girl. Okay. Hold.
Good, Rebecca.
Fly.
Yeah.
There you go.
He needs to be on the outside if he can be. Okay.
Good girl.
He's going around.
Okay.
So your dog is always on the outside of the circle.
Yeah, good girl.
Make it really hard for yourselves and go the other way now. So have the dog on the outside of the circle the other way.
Good job. One is
Ready?
ready.
Around? Yes.
Good job. Girl.
Good job, Rebecca. Good, Janet.
Oh, ready? Good girl. Away.
Yay, nice, Tracer.
Oh, boy.
Good. Let's give these dogs a break. Your brains are falling out, so is
Good
theirs.
girl.
Love them up. Let them know that they're the best dog of the day and that their training session is over right now.
Get it. Ready? Up. Nice job.
I don't think I have anything on start lines here. We're just going to do a few sits, I think. Okay. Questions about that. I think I'm going to say the hardest thing is dog gets to be on the outside of the circle. You start with the leg beside them. Her head's stupid there. You start with your leg beside them is back. And then as you release the dog, that leg is going to come forward because they need that motion cue. Motion is their primary language, not verbal, although that would be nice, but motion is absolutely their primary language. And if you're not moving, initially, your dog should not be moving, right? So I want to give them that motion cue so that they can move. No matter which way you're going around the barrel, the dog is on the outside of the circle. So think about being on I don't know if you guys ever played it when you were little, where somebody would be in the middle and you'd all hold hands and then you'd go like that around, right? And the last person would run like crazy. You're using your lead. So when the dog is on this side, they are going to their right. And so therefore, we don't want them going to their left. When they're on this side, we want them to go to their right. When they're on this side, we want them to go to their left. If you have trouble remembering that, think about that game that we used to play where we all held hands and we all ran in a big circle and tried to pull the last person off their feet or whatever the purpose was. I don't know what the purpose was of that game. But it's about leads and the dog will need to change leads. But initially I want them to think that if they're on this side, they're always going to go that way. And if they're on this side, they're always going to go that way. And I also know that my left and right is opposite for you guys once you see the recording. So don't worry about whether I said left or right. Just think about that long line of people. You want to pull your dog around that way, or you want to pull your dog around that way.
Now, while they're learning, does it matter how they come back to you? Because he's sort of coming back every, whatever, and
Yeah.
awkward.
I might even throw more food. So I'm going to send them that from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And then I might throw some food to get them to come around the rest of the way around the barrel. But that's not my big deal. My big deal is just go. I will worry about,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good question, Janet. Any other questions? Okay, we are going to do 2 more things. One with the hoop and one just with sits. If you feel like your dogs are fried, don't do it with them. If you feel like your dog is good, then we're going to do it with them. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking about time. I'm thinking about how much I want to throw into your class. I want to share my screen. I think I'm going to go there. Oh, I'm probably going to have to share first. Okay. I want to go to, no, not this one at all. Hang on. I had it queued up and then I changed it, right? So let me go back, queue differently. Okay. Gonna go back to here. And it's not that one that I want.
Equipment that the dogs take.
I think somebody's talking to me, but I don't know who it was.
No, sorry, I was playing a video by accident.
Oh, okay. Okay, so why did that stop? One of the things I want to work on now is also focus forward. So we were doing back and forth through the hoop, but I want them to start looking forward. So this builds on your dish game. So make sure you've done lots of dish game, which is what Chris and I didn't do. And we were still forward chaining here. So there's a dish there. When Easy is looking at the dish, Chris lets her go. You know what? We're not going to put sit in there. So she's actually holding her. That is fine with me. All I want is the dog looking forward through the hoop. She looked at me very briefly, and then she looked at the dish. I want to have her looking at the dish. If you have to hold your dog at this point, you can. We're going to add in boundaries or something right here. I'd like to use a boundary initially while I'm working on my sit stay or my stand stay or my down stay. And we're going to work on that in a minute. So, but I want the dog to start and to you practice, for you to practice the dog looking through the hoop for the dish. And I think that happened before she said dish. So again, Easy really wants to look at Chris. So we're really having to have her wait for looking forward once she's not holding her anymore. That wasn't great. It's a hard concept. I would not be leaning over the dog like that. I feel like that on some dogs can add a lot of pressure. And Easy was actually, if you play this in slow motion, you will see that before Chris leaned over, oh, maybe not. Yeah. So then she looked forward. So Chris released her. That's all we want to do is go through the hoop to the dish. We're going to do about a minute of it. Make sense? Questions? Okay, go put your hoops out, put your dish out.
Are we saying dish?
You
for
can
this
say dish or you can say break dish, whatever you want to use. I want you to say dish before the dog gets to the dish.
Okay.
Because again, I'm working on that stimulus control of dish.
Ooh, is this one? Yes,
And I really don't want to wreck our sits or anything like that. So we're going to do boundaries in a minute. Good. Janet, face the direction you want the dog to go. Because if you're facing sideways, you're putting pressure on the dog.
Oh, anything in there? Oh my goodness.
Hi. Okay, get it.
Good.
Hi.
Ida.
Hi, good girl.
Good.
Middle.
I might even bring Skeen around the outside of my body.
Dish.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Have a look.
Good girl. Ready?
What we really want is when the dog is looking forward to release. Good. Nice, Skeen.
Oh, that was bad. Dish.
Good.
Let's go. Okay, ready? Middle.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Good job.
Dish.
Tracer's like, I don't know that word. I don't know that word at all. What did you say, Mom? Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yep.
Middle. Good girl. Dish.
Dish.
Try and go both ways so that you're working both sides.
Get it.
And then we're going to
Get it.
Just do a little bit more.
Oh, good job, Goose. Wah, wah, wah.
Okay, ready, middle. Dish.
Yeah,
Dish.
hurrah.
Nice job. Nice job.
Skeen is like, you
Get
changed
it.
up the picture and I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Middle.
That's confusing.
Dish.
Yeah, good girl.
Yay.
Try to make sure you're looking forward. They are looking forward when you release them.
Good job.
Ready.
You guys
middle.
are almost out of time.
Dish.
Uh,
Good girl. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. All right, ready. And dish.
Oh, good.
Good. And
Good
let's
girl.
give them a break.
Good
That
girl.
was beautiful.
Let's
Well
go.
done, Janet.
Let's go. Get it.
Skeen kept his energy up the whole time, Janet. That was great.
Ready. Hop. Nice job.
You can almost see him slowing down. He starts, it's like, it's like a battery's running out or
Yeah,
something.
and that's where, you know, doing things that are, I think it's actually in my rally class that I have a whole section on arousal, ways of getting arousal up and arousal down. But I think it's in the rally class. Questions on that? Okay, so the joy of a class. Looked like somebody coming in here. Nobody should be coming in here. It's Tuesday. No. The joy of classes is that we try to jam too much in, and we can't do this until we do this, and we can't do that until we do this, and we can't do this until we do that. And I don't want to wreck anything in the process, which is why I didn't have you say sit or down or anything, because that gets into a lot of, no, I said, or using body pressure or whatever. So, or it can for some people. So what I'd like to do is work on your boundaries. So boundary is a word that Sarah and Janet and I know. That is a bed, Rebecca, or a Cato board or something. And I want them to stay on there, even though you're putting the dish down. So where I'm going with this is next week, we will do boundary, hoop, dish. Can you be on the boundary, look forward, and I release to the dish, or release to the hoop and release to the dish. What we're going to do this time is just work boundary to dish. So for Janet and Sarah, if you are on Help My Dog with Tom Mitchell, he has done a whole section on bowl games. And these are kind of the bowl games from Absolute Dogs, but Tom has taken a big, he's changed it. He's made it way better. So if you are on that, you can go and look there. So what we're going to do is we're going to build up our boundaries. We're going to do maybe total of 5 minutes of this. Build up your boundaries, value on the boundary, food on the boundary, pause, release, no food off, food back on the boundary if they choose, and then move your body so you're facing the boundary. So here's my dog. Here's my dog. Here's my dog on the boundary. I'm feeding. I release. I'm going to help them by turning. I say break. They come off. I'm going to turn. I'm not going to pet them. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to turn back towards the boundary. See if they can choose to go back to where that place was, where all the value was. Go back and feed. When you're feeling like that is really good, you are going to have your dog on the boundary. You are going to take your dish and you're going to put it down. If they start to come off, then you're going to pick the dish up until they go back. You can help them by looking at the boundary, moving towards the boundary, a little bit of body pressure. Look, it helps. Until you can get that bowl all the way down. As soon as it's on the ground, you're going to say dish and let them have it. We are just working on, can you maintain your boundary while the bowl is on the ground? This is not in your classroom. I need to do it. It should be. I need to do it. Does that make sense? So 2 or 3 reps of just on the boundary, release, on the boundary, release, on the boundary, release, on the boundary, bowl down, but it only gets to the ground if they stay on the boundary. If not, they come up. It comes up. You don't get to say, this may be too much for Skeen. It may be something you want to try doing with Raven, because it really is about waiting for the cue. Yeah.
I'll do it with Raven. I'll give Skeen a break. He's kind of done, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're only going to do about a total of 5 minutes. Maybe even less. Yeah, you will need your bowl out of there, Janet. So start by building up the boundary. Rebecca, your chair is in the way. Can you just pull your chair back a little bit? Thank
Okay,
you.
are you
Your
ready?
dog has awesome boundary.
come here.
Cookie's almost still there.
Good girl.
Good. If you have awesome boundaries, then you can move immediately to putting the bowl down.
Good girl.
And then release them
Ready,
to the
break.
good.
Come here.
Release them to the bowl.
Yes, good girl.
God, you guys have, whoops. You guys have awesome boundaries. Almost.
Good girl.
So yeah, and Rebecca, you get to decide what your criteria is for boundary. I've had to go through a whole thing of reteaching Sparkle that boundary is 4 feet on. Because he's decided that 2 feet in his crate is enough. And I've had to go back and I'm reteaching 4 feet in the crate. So it's up to you, but know that with some dogs, if you start to let your criteria go, it's going to go really fast. It's going to disappear really fast. But that's your decision. And you're muted, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if it matters to me so much.
Okay.
Because she's really good at just staying there.
Okay.
Even if that's a couple paws on.
That's fine. So was Sparkle.
So we're releasing to the bowl.
Yeah, you're releasing to the bowl right now.
Okay. Break. Good girl.
Face the direction
here.
you want Raven to go, Janet, if you can now. Okay, what you guys are going to do is you're now going to put the hoop in front of the boundary and the bowl on the other side. So now your release, it can be a release word or it can be hoop. You're not going to say dish until they're through the hoop. Oh my God, I need to do this with my dog so I have a video.
Okay, ready, go get it.
Break. Dish. Good girl. Forgot to put the-
Good. If you have to at this point,
Ready,
Sarah,
break.
yeah, if you have to at this
Uh-huh.
point, Rebecca, not Sarah, if you have to at this point, Rebecca, just hold her so that she can go by herself.
Oh,
Does
I
that
see.
make sense?
Okay.
Rather than you having to go with her. If
Okay.
she will, she may not.
Break. Here you go. Scoot. I'm sorry. Break. Scoot. Good girl. Okay.
Good.
Good girl.
Break. Dish.
Nice. Really done. Well done,
Dish.
Rebecca. Make sure you do both sides. Good job, Raven. Janet, if you had more room, I'd move that bowl out farther, but I don't know that you have more room.
Down. Good girl. Dish.
Dish.
Good.
girl.
Face the direction you want to go, Rebecca. And if you want to use a motion marker, a motion cue, use that foot,
Okay.
right? That foot and arm. Yeah.
I have a question. Are we saying a release cue, or are we saying dish, or are we saying who?
You can, let's talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Dish.
Good. Okay, let's give the dogs a break. You know what you're doing, kind of. And that's all I
Great.
care about is that you know what you're doing for practicing. So love up your dogs. Tell them they had an amazing training session with you. You're very grateful they were able to do it.
And ready?
And then Sarah, get back in your car. Because I feel cold. It's
Okay.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock there. It's cold.
Oh no, it feels bad. Not bad.
Okay, so Sarah asked a really good question. What are we saying? It kind of depends what you want to do. So for me, there's a bunch of stuff. Break, if my dog is somewhere and I'm here and I say break, my dog should come to me. Break for me just means move. It doesn't tell the dog what to do. So if I have a hoop, I'm likely going to say hoop. If they don't know the word hoop, then I'm going to use new cue, old cue. So I'm going to use hoop, break. Once they're through the hoop, I'm going to say dish. I don't want to release with dish because if I do, there's no processing of that hoop thing, right? So I kind of want to say the name of the obstacle, but they don't know it yet. So my dogs are taught that break simply means move. It gives you no other information. The other information may be I'm moving past the hoop. So then I say break and there I'm moving and my movement is a cue to take the hoop. But if I'm still, I absolutely need to say hoop, break, or sorry, hoop, break. Does that make sense, Sarah? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I tend to not use a lot of words because as you can tell, I don't even get my words with you guys right. It's like, whose name is that? But there are some that are I've used forever, like break and obstacle names. And break for the last 13 years for me, possibly more than that, possibly 15, has always just meant move. It does not mean get it. It does not mean steal the toy. It does not mean go pee. It does not mean go out the door. It just means move, and it means you have to move. There is no choice. So for Rebecca, I also have a cue that is all done, we're finished training, which is all done. And then I do a treat scatter. Or that's enough, and treat scatter. I use them both interchangeably. But break doesn't give them enough information unless you're actually moving, and then your movement is the cue. Questions. We covered so much today, and I'm going to be using your boundaries as a start line because I think until we get in hoopers, it doesn't matter. In agility, I'm a little anal about the dog sitting so that they're loading off their rear. But in hoopers, it really doesn't matter because they're not having to jump. So for Sparkle, his down is way more solid than his sit. So I'm probably just going to let him choose whatever position he wants. I'm not going to probably choose a stand because for most dogs, maybe it's just people driving really slowly on the highway. For most dogs, a stand is not a behavior and they don't understand to stay absolutely still. And I can't afford, and I don't want to ever be in a position, especially with hoopers, where I'm walking out to where I need to be and my dog is past me taking a bunch of equipment. So I need them to wait for that cue. So I am likely to use a down. But I don't care. I still, with Sparkle, in the little bit of agility he does, which does not involve jumping, but I do it just so that I can take Lori's classes. And certainly in hoopers, I use a Kato board for him. I use my boundary because that is the only way he can stay still. So, okay, I'm going to do a recap and then you guys can go, oh my God, that was a lot of information today. We got our money's worth, maybe. We did the overview of Zendler. We started some stimulus control with Dish. which you can see how much you're going to need it, right? Because I want to be able to put my reward out there and walk away from it and know my dog is going to stay without me going and all the other crap that we do that makes our dog go, oh my God, so much pressure. We did some shaping of the hoop. We did some back chaining of the barrel to a dish. We did some focus forward games with the dish and the hoop. And we also worked on our boundary as a focus. And I would do that as a focus forward game with the hoop. So the dog is on the boundary, and when it's looking at the dish is when I'm going to say dish. Questions? I will attempt this week, and I'm not sure when it's going to be, to get in a video of focus forward with the hoop with the boundary. That would be so good for Sparkle to do. I need to do that. It kind of was in the middle of doing stuff with you, and it's like, we're going to do that instead of start lines. I am part of Jess Martin's Start Line 30 course, which is outstanding. She breaks start lines down into 30 pieces. So we're just at the point now where we're taking the leash off, right? And we're on day 15 or something. So lots of minuscule things so that you're not getting in punishing stuff. Stay. And we also post, I will also post something on Vito's game. Don't know where I'm going to post it. I'll put it in one of the first sections and just put it as an addendum. I will upload the recording to YouTube. I will post the recording in the not the discussion, in the community. I will also post the Zoom link in the community so you don't have to go looking for it next week. It will take a while because I have to upload to YouTube before I can post. So if you guys have no more questions, I think I talked over any questions. Any of the last minute things that have come to your brains that are very, very full now? Okay. Ask questions to me personally, ask questions on the New Zinler site. There are 4 other people that are going to be on that site. And they're all nice people. Rebecca I was going to say, Chris, but I don't remember whether she's actually doing that class or not. I know she's doing the in-person class with me. You don't know either.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Happy training. Have a good week. Let me know if anything comes to mind while you're practicing. Okay. Take
Okay.
care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.